We will begin today sitting in a comfortable cross-legged position. So if it's not comfortable for you to sit cross-legged, then I suggest getting some blankets or towels or cushions to elevate your hips, and then it should make it easier on the legs, on the knees, and also to sit upright. And we can also pull the flesh of the buttocks back behind the sit bones, and that may just ever so slightly tilt the pelvis and make it a little easier to sit. And we'll start with a breath in, pulling the shoulders up, and then exhale out of the mouth, relaxing the shoulders down. And if you can also let your eyes close, I invite you to do that. Ever so gently lower the chin. Just see if you can take these next few moments to feel into any places in the body that may be holding on and letting go. Softening through the face, the jaw, the shoulders, the belly, the hands, the thighs. Letting the body melt from the inside out. And then in this softness, we can start to breathe deeply, filling the lungs from bottom to top, feeling the belly expanding, the ribs widening, the heart lifting, and then exhaling from top to bottom. Once again, relaxing with that exhale. And as the breath moves upward, you might also feel the spine lifting upward on that inhale. And then as the breath moves downward on the exhale, you can see if the spine can stay tall and lifted, and maybe the shoulders relax down some more. It's almost as though the bones in the body move up and the muscles release down. Sometimes the image may be helpful of a coat rack. You can think of that structure there, extending up and solid, and then a coat just hanging down off one of the hooks, like the flesh melting off the bones, relaxed. And then we'll bring the hands around the shins. On an inhale, pull the hands toward the shins. Send the chest forward, the shoulders back, and the eyes up. On the exhale, round the back. Lean away from the hands. Tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin. Inhaling, moving from the tailbone up all the way to the top of the head as you look up. On the exhale, curling, leaning back. The belly moves toward the spine to release all the air out. And then just continue like that, moving at your own pace. See if the movement helps extend the breath, or if perhaps it shortens it, or maybe doesn't affect it. Just notice. Last one here. And we'll bring the hands to the floor in front of us. And just skimming the fingers across the floor, going all the way from side to side. And see if you can stay connected to your breath as you move. Maybe you're inhaling to one side and exhaling to the other. Or maybe you're inhaling through center and exhaling as you extend. Or maybe something else completely. Whatever you're doing is fine. There's no right way to be with it. Just be aware if there's a connection between the breath and the movement. And we'll come back to center, sitting nice and tall. And just change the cross of your leg so the opposite leg is in front. Lifting tall through the spine. Reach the arms up as you inhale. Exhale, turn to the left, bringing your left hand to the ground behind you, your right hand across to the left knee. Press down into the left hand and lift tall through the crown of your head. And then as you exhale, turn your belly to the left. Inhale, pressing down to lift tall. Exhale, turn the ribs. Inhale, tall. Exhale, chest and shoulders turn. Inhale, tall. Exhale, reach your eyes back behind you. And then continue here, breathing up the length of your spine and then twisting around the axis of your spine as you exhale and soften. As you inhale, come center, reach the arms up again. Exhale, turn to the right, bringing the right hand behind you, the left hand across to the right knee, and then press down into your right hand to help lift tall through the crown of your head as you inhale. Exhale, roll the belly to the right. Inhale, tall. Exhale, roll the ribs. Inhale, tall. Exhale, chest and shoulders turn. Inhale. Exhale, reach your eyes back behind you. See if the spine is straight. Sometimes when we twist, we might inadvertently lean in the direction that we're twisting. One of the ways that you can tell if you're leaning is to see if there's equal weight on your sit bones. So if one of your sit bones feels like it has more weight, you're leaning in that direction. And then just even out. And then if the spine is straight, we can more easily turn around it. On your next inhale, come center, reach the arms up. And exhale the arms down. Release the legs, bring them out in front. Maybe shake them out if that would feel good. Rub the knees if you'd like. And you can rest the hands by your sides. And we're going to circle the feet around at the ankles. And I encourage you to keep your eyes closed for as much of the practice as you're comfortable doing. This just kind of helps accentuate the sensory part of the practice rather than the visual. We don't really need to see anything. Just feel all the little muscles in the feet and maybe even the legs. And then circle the other way. And come back to stillness. And point and flex the feet, reaching through the toes, pulling back the toes. See if you can flex so strongly that maybe even the heels slightly lift off the ground. You don't have to try to lift them, just try to flex. See if that happens. It's okay if it doesn't. And relax the feet. And then open the legs out to the side. Place the hands behind you. Press down into the hands to lift the buttocks and send your hips forward. Now you may keep the hands behind you and just stay here, breathing in and breathing out. It might be an intense stretch for you and you don't need to go any further. If you feel like you can and want to, you can bring the hands in front of you, only if doing that does not round your back. So one of the principles of stretching is kind of counterintuitive, but if we're trying to stretch our hips and legs here, if we round forward, you might notice that rather than that deepening the stretch, it might make it less. If, however, you keep the spine straight and tall and you're able to slightly hinge forward without rounding the back, that will intensify the stretch if you want. Again, staying here is fine. You can just focus on breathing in and out. And if you are hinging forward, then you might want to soften the arms so that they're not holding you up at all. And then as you exhale, you might feel some letting go that lets the body fold a little more. It's not something that you make happen. It's just something that happens from an undoing, not a doing. And we're going to keep our feet flexed and just stay connected to the fullness and the movement of the breath. If you're folded forward, walk the hands in, and then we'll all inhale and reach the arms up. Exhale, left arm down inside the left leg, right arm reaching over to the left. Turn your gaze up, maybe closing the eyes. You can feel how that breath fills up into those right ribs. And then as you exhale, press the back of the left arm to the inside of the left leg and rotate your body open even more. Reaching and relaxing. If you can let go and sink into it more on the exhale, do so. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, right arm down inside the right leg. Left arm reaching over. Roll the head up into the left. Breathe deep into those left ribs. Feel the stretch happening from the inside, from the breath. And then maybe pressing the back of the arm into the leg, rolling open even more. Maybe exhaling and sinking even more. Nothing has to happen. Just be here and breathe and have the intention to breathe deep and to relax. That's it. On an inhale, lift up. Exhale the arms down. Bring the hands to the outer legs and help them forward. Pull the flesh of the buttocks back behind your sit bones. Bend the left leg, bringing the foot to the inside of the right thigh. Flexing that right foot. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. And then let the elbows drop so that the upper body can relax. Let the head relax forward. Press down through the right thigh and forward through the right heel. As you inhale, try to elongate your spine, moving your head away from your hips. As you exhale, draw the belly in toward the spine and let go. Create a long, slow in-breath and a nice, relaxing out-breath. On your next inhale, roll yourself up. Reach the left arm up. Exhale, send it back onto the ground behind you. Push into that left hand. Lift your hips coming onto one knee and one foot. Send the right arm up. Press the hips forward. Drop the head back. Breathe into the openness of the front body. Maybe pressing down into that left foot a little to send the hips under you even more. See if the breath can expand from the inside out. And lower the hips down, release the arm, straighten the left leg, and bring the right foot in. Flex the foot actively, press down into the leg, inhale, reach up through the hands, exhale, try to get long as you come forward. So you're not just going down, but you're reaching out and then down. And then just relax. Let the elbows drop. Let the shoulders and arms relax. Let the head fall forward. Michael, can you relax those arms a little more? Yeah, just melt. Just melt. Forward bends are postures of surrender. There's not anywhere to go. Just letting go. Breathing in and breathing out. That's it. Long breath. Relaxing breath. Nice. And then on the next inhale, roll yourself up. Reach the arms up. Exhale, the right hand to the ground behind you. Left arm stays up. Push into that right hand. Lift your hips coming onto the knee and the foot. Send the hips forward, the head back, maybe the arm back. Press down into the left foot, press down into the right foot. Breathe wide into the body. And release down. Tuck that left foot in. Flip over your feet onto hands and knees. We'll have the hands, one hand's length in front of the shoulders. Spread the fingers wide apart. Curl the toes under. We're going to lift the knees but keep them bent. Push forward into the hands, sending the hips back as though you're trying to line your hips over your heels, keeping the knees bent. Relax the head down, and then press down into the left heel, keeping the right knee bent. Press forward again into the hands, sending the hips back even more, and the heel down even more. Breathing in, breathing out. Press the left thigh back. Bend the left knee, straighten the right leg, press the right heel down. Press the hands forward, the hips back, the right thigh back. Sink the chest, drop the head, feel the breath. The hands are active, so it feels like the weight is in your fingers, not in the palms. And then straighten both legs. Press the heels down. And then just bring the hips forward a little bit. Just deepening that stretch in the calves. So now you're kind of letting your weight come into your hands. Pressing the heels down. Yep. That's it. So not quite a downward dog where we're trying to send our hips back, but sending them a little bit forward. Good. Now press forward into the hands and send the hips back. Inhale, lift the left leg and look forward. And exhale, step the left foot up between the hands, coming into a runner's lunge. And then bend the right knee about halfway down toward the ground, sinking the hips down as well. Now see if you can keep your hips nice and low. Andrew, you need to bring your left foot far enough forward so that it's under your knee, so that your knee is safe. Great. And then try to keep the hips hanging low and straighten the right knee by pressing back through the right heel nice and strong. But keep the hips down. Drop the hips toward the floor. See if you can bring a lot of weight into that left foot, and that might help you drop the hips even more. Good. Now bring the right knee onto the ground. Keep the right hand on the ground, but reach the left hand back. Bend your right knee and grab hold of your right foot with your left hand. if you can. If not, use a strap or a towel to wrap around the foot and grab that. And then resink the hips forward as you pull that right heel toward the buttock. Keep sending your hips down. And then maybe roll that left shoulder open and look over your shoulder. Okay. And release the back foot. Bring that left hand down on the inside of the leg and then bring it under behind the calf. And we're just going to rock from side to side, rolling onto the outer edge of that left foot and then rocking to the right, letting the knee drop down and lift up, down and up. Really let that right hip sink as you drop to the right. Good. And then the next time you drop the knee to the left, we're going to let it stay there. And maybe closing the eyes, you can take a nice deep breath in and notice how much weight is in your hands. And then as you exhale, take weight out of your hands somewhat, bending the elbows and letting the hips sink down. Just one breath at a time, just being here, doing your best to relax. By slowing down that exhale, the body will naturally relax. So a slow inhale will help create that slow exhale. If the arms are locked, unlock them. That's good. Nice. And then go ahead and let the left buttock come down to the ground. Take that left hand out to the side. Slide the right knee in, coming into a pinwheel position. Left hand on the ground, push into the hand and lift the hips. Send the right arm up and back. Drop the head back. Imagine that you're breathing to reach your right fingertips. You can press into the tops of the feet and try to tuck the hips under some more. And release down. Send that right leg back. Bring the hands shoulder width apart in front of you. Curl the back toes under and step back into downward facing dog. Good. Inhaling, lift the right leg and look forward. Exhale, step the foot up between the hands. And if it doesn't come all the way up, just help it with your right hand so that the knee is lined up with the ankle. And then we'll let that left knee bend halfway to the floor and sink the hips down as low as we can. Now see if you can keep the hips as low as they are and straighten the leg by pushing back through the heel. The hips may want to lift, resist that. Really straighten that back leg. Completely straight. Yep, keep going, Michael. Straight, straight, straight. Push back, push back. And then send the heart forward away from the heel. Push down into that right foot. Breathe in and out. Beautiful. Release the left knee down onto the ground. Reach the right hand back for the left foot. Bending that knee. And then so most likely you lifted your hips in order to grab that foot. Now see if you can drop the hips forward again. And pull the heel to the buttock. And then maybe roll that right shoulder blade in toward the spine, looking over the right shoulder, rolling the shoulder back away from the face. Keep dropping the left hip down and forward. Just be here and breathe. Let the breath do the work for you. And release the foot, bringing that right hand down inside the leg. And then kind of under and behind. And we'll rock side to side. Just warming up that hip. Letting the knee fall down to the right. Letting the left hip drop to the left. And the next time the knee comes to the right, just let it release there. Take a nice breath in. And then as you exhale, bend the elbows and sink down. So you don't want to have your right buttock on the ground, most likely. It would require an intense amount of flexibility to be able to be in the pose properly and have the right buttock on the ground. So it's okay if the knee is in the air and the right buttock is in the air. So let me show it from the side. Just letting that right knee relax down as much as it can. There's no place that you need to be, nothing you need to do. Just be here and breathe. Trying your best to relax. So unlock the elbows. I see a lot of locked elbows. The elbows are locked, there's nowhere to go. Doesn't signify relaxation. Okay, now we're going to let the buttock come down to the ground. Slide that left knee to the foot, coming into a pinwheel position. Right hand on the ground behind you. Push into the right hand to lift the hips. Send the left arm up. Press into the tops of the feet. Send the hips forward. Drop the head back. Connect with each breath. Let the posture be animated by your breath. Feel the expanding. Feel the relaxing. And release down. Send that left leg back. Hands plant in front. Curl the left toes under. And step back once again. And then walk the feet up to the hands. Let the knees be softly bent. Tuck the chin to the chest. And roll yourself up one vertebra at a time. Turning the palms to face out. Send the arms forward. Up. Back. And down. Do that again. Palms out. Thumbs down. Arms lift. And down. One more time. And then when the arms come down, you can just let them rest. Maybe closing the eyes, feeling the way the body rests on the ground. Feeling the bones in the legs sinking into the earth. Feeling the breath rising and falling. Then we'll take one step back with the left foot. Let the eyes open. See if you can continue to keep your primary sense of awareness internal on the breath. That will help. But also keep your eyes fixed on a spot in front of you. We'll start with the arms beside, and then I'll give you some options if you want to make it harder. We're going to start to lean into that right foot. Let the eyes come down toward the floor. Hinge forward and lift the back leg off the ground till the eyes can come to a spot on the ground just below your face. Try to get the leg to lift parallel to the ground. Stay focused on your breath. And then for those who want, you can make it a little more challenging by sending the arms out to the side or overhead. Keep breathing slow and steady. That'll stabilize you. Well, that looks nice, Andrew. Great. You too, Jose. Very nice. Beautiful. Slowly, with control, release the foot down, stepping it beside the other foot. Good job. Close the eyes. Feel the slow, steady rhythm of breath. The feet sinking down into the ground. And then step the right foot back. Breathing in, breathing out. Starting with the gaze down in front of you. Shift weight into your left foot. Start to hinge forward at the hips, lifting the right leg. Draw a line with your eyes, straight down until it's just below your head. Lifting the leg up parallel to the ground, and then taking the arms wide if you want, or forward. Warrior 3. Steady your body and your mind by controlling and deepening your breath. Don't let your eyes move or your body will follow. Good. And then with control, lower that right foot down beside the left foot. Standing, breathing, feeling. And roll the shoulders forward, up, back, and down a few times. Good. And then inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, clasp the hands behind the back of the head. Inhale, press the elbows back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, press the back of the head into the hands. Exhale, press the hands into the back of the head. Again, inhale, pressing back. Exhale, pressing forward. And you can aim the elbows toward the wall behind you if you like, or keep them wide. Your choice. Just feeling breath in and out. You can lift the belly toward the spine as you exhale, kind of like a little scoop. Hollowing out the belly. Release the hands down, bring them to the ground, bending the knees if you need to do that. Take the toes a little wider, take the heels a little wider, take the toes wider still, and then bend the knees. Coming all the way down. Bring the hands together and bring the thumbs toward the chest. Press the knees wide. And if you feel like you want to stretch even more, but there's nowhere else to go, you can bring your fist to your hand or even fist to fist. And if you're not on your heels, just take your feet wider until you can be on your heels. And then lift up tall through the chest. And then draw the navel in and down, sinking the tailbone, trying to release the low back. Beautiful. Release the hands, lower down onto the buttocks. Bring the feet in front of you. Bring the arms out in front of you, or if you want to work a little harder onto the chest or a little harder up into the air, tuck the chin, and we're going to lower slowly down with control onto the back. Once you come all the way down, rest the hands. And then press into the feet to lift your hips just about an inch off the floor, enough to tuck the tailbone under and lower back down. And then release your legs and shake them out. And if you happen to have an eye pillow and you'd like to place that on your eyes now, please do so. And then we'll rest the arms out to the side away from the body. I invite you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth, releasing the weight of the body into the ground. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth, releasing the jaw, letting the lips slightly part, relaxing through the mouth. Inhale deep. Exhale out of the mouth, releasing the activity of the mind. Letting go of thoughts, letting go of images, letting go of anything other than the sensation of the breath. Focus and direct your attention to the feeling of the breath in the body. And then even let go of the breath so you're no longer trying to breathe deeply or trying to breathe at all. Just let breath happen. It can be fast, it can be short, it can be shallow, it doesn't matter. There's no wrong breath. Just allow and observe. See if the mind can stay with a whole breath from the beginning to the end without wandering. And then the next, and the next. And if the mind does wander, that's fine, that's what the mind does. Just bring it back again. Deeply relaxed. Letting go. Letting go. Letting go. Breathe into your heart. Move fingers and toes. Reach the arms overhead. Take a deep breath. Stretch long. Hug the knees to the chest. Rocking side to side. Feeling the ground massaging your back. And come center. Bring the soles of the feet together. The palms together. Rub hand to hand and foot to foot. Roll on to either side. Rest your head on your underside arm. Rest your body on the ground. Continue to rest your mind in the sensations that are here right now. Feeling any sense of aliveness that may be here. And maybe any sense of ease. And then slowly press yourself up, letting your head come up last. Sitting any way that you're comfortable. Sinking down into the buttocks, lifting tall through the crown of the head. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hands together at the heart. Inhale the heart up to the hands. Exhale, shoulders relax down. Inhale deeply, breathing in from bottom to top. Take it all in. Let it all go. Drop the chin to the chest. Namaste.